And here is the complex that I have been looking at. It has been intensifying over the past 30 to 45 minutes. And in addition to heavy rainfall, lightning, and potentially damaging winds, I'm also starting to see some rotation around I-95. This is going to be just towards the south of Pooler and just towards the west of Savannah. Now, I want to show you a time lapse over the past 15 to 30 minutes as far as where this storm came from and where it is heading. It's moving out towards the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, east-northeast at about 50. So it is a fast mover. In addition to the heavy rain and lightning, we also have that rotation. What I'm going to do right now is switch to a unique function that we have, and what it detects is wind heading towards and away from the radar. So one of the things that I'm looking at is an area where we have bright red and bright green in a small proximity. Let me point that out for you if you're having trouble differentiating that at home. Here is the area that I'm looking at for possibly some rotation, maybe a funnel cloud, and a brief tornado cannot be ruled out. So let's show you communities as well as areas that, we do have that rotation. So it looks like the proximity of the rotation would be Little Neck Road, Quaco Road. I actually live on Quaco Road, so very familiar with the area. It's going to be passing I-95 shortly. So again, we're every now and then getting the recent radar scans. So what happens is the radar does a 360 scan and then it updates itself, and it looks like it has now pushed that area of weak rotation now closer to Savannah. It has crossed over I-95 and around I-16. So if you're not liking the look of this radar display, and if it seems a little confusing, what I'm now going to switch to is our tornado tracker. And this detects shear, which is one of the ingredients for tornadoes. And take a look at where we have some of this coloring of the blue, even the purple. Let me point that out for you. That's where we have the potential for rotation, a funnel cloud, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Now, this display that I'm looking at, it looks like it's a little behind, probably 3 to 5 minutes behind. So more than likely, this area right here has now approached Ogeechee and portions of 17. So I'm going to be looking for a new scan and a new update, and to see if that shear marker has been consistent, if it has weakened, or if it has intensified. So let me show you another tool that we have, and this is going to look even more confusing, but don't worry, I'll explain what this is. If we had any debris on the ground, we would have a blue dot appear within all this red and with all these scattered colors. And because I do not see that at this point, I do not think that we have a tornado on the ground. So that is some good news. I'm still going to watch it. If we have any type of blue appear within all this red, we would have more than likely debris flying through the air and possibly a tornado. So the fact that we do not have that, a very, very good sign. So let's switch over to our reflectivity. This is your typical radar that you do see. And it looks like, okay, I'm actually just getting an update here from the National Weather Service. Okay. And it does look like they have issued a tornado warning for Chatham County. And I do think that's a very good call from the National Weather Service. So let me get up to speed here on what we do have. And we are getting those updates, as you can hear. Okay. Okay, let me get you caught up to speed. I'm going to listen to some of the updates here from the National Weather Service. And what I'm getting in, a warning has been issued for Chatham County. It has been issued for Jasper County. At 3:04, the National Weather Service, the meteorologist as well as Storm Team 3, detected a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. So there are two scenarios in which they issue tornado warnings for Chatham County and in general. It's going to be if a tornado is on the ground, it has been spotted, it has been doing damage. That's one of the scenarios. Or if there is rotation in the atmosphere and at any point we could have a funnel cloud, and we could have a tornado touching towards the ground. So there are two scenarios, and the one that we have going on right now is that it is possible at any moment. Now, currently we do not have a tornado on the ground. Wanted to repeat that, no tornado on the ground. This is a scenario where a tornado is possible at any moment. So this is the area that we have the tornado warning, Chatham County. If you're listening to me at home, here's what you need to do. This does include the center of Chatham County, I-16, 17, Abercorn. What you need to do, get away from windows, go to the center of your home, get in the bathroom, get in the tub. That's a great place to be. For all you athletes out there, if you got a helmet, put the helmet on top of your head. What that will help to do is to protect you from any flying debris that we have going on in your place, on your apartment. And speaking of, if you live in an apartment, what you want to do, if you have the time, you want to, let's say if you live on the second or third floor, just like I do at my place, I live on the third floor, try to get to the lowest floor. You want to be on the bottom floor. That is the best chance that you have. If you do not have enough time, what you want to do is get into the bathroom, get into the center, get away from windows. So let's get you one more update on where the area of possible rotation and the possible funnel cloud tornado will be. Let's take you town by town, and let's show you just exactly the area that I'm looking at. So here is Berwick Boulevard. Here's going to be Chapel Drive. What we are looking at is our tornado detector in shear. Shear is one of the early signs and one of the ingredients for tornadoes and tornado development, and we have that around 17, so Highway 17 and 307. Let me switch to my velocity scan, and what this is, let me zoom out, and it'll make a little bit more sense for you. I know it's going to look confusing when you initially see it. What this is when heading towards the radar and away from the radar, and where you have these conflicting wind speeds in a small proximity, that's where we have rotation, and we could have a funnel cloud or tornado. So you're going to see it a lot better once I put a 1 hour time lapse on it. So watch how this area comes in from the southwest and move towards the northeast. So let me point this one area out for you right here. See right there, that's the area that I'm concerned about for a possible tornado, and we obviously have the rotation. Now watch how that progresses towards 17, and then now as we get our new scans in, this is going to be, looks like it has lodged itself between I-16 and 17. So let me get you a bearing here. Here's Chatham Parkway. Let me zoom in. Okay, so here's 307 on the left part of your screen. Here is Chatham Parkway. Here's 17. Here's 16. If you live in this vicinity, you have got to seek shelter, get into the center of your house. A tornado has not been confirmed at the moment, but it's going to be one of those situations that a tornado can fall from the sky at any minute. So I absolutely don't blame the National Weather Service for issuing a tornado warning. It's one of those situations, better to be safe than sorry. And one of the features that we do have with our technology nowadays is this is called the correlation coefficient. Translation, what does that mean? All the red that you're looking at is rain. But what we are able to do nowadays with the technology that we have is we can look inside of the storm, and if we were to see blue pop up within this red, that means that debris is being hurled into the air and that we would have a tornado on the ground. The fact that I do not see that is a very good sign. So it's more than likely that we have rotation at the base of the cloud, the base of the storm, and that we, at the moment, do not have a tornado on the ground. But I don't want us to take that for granted. I want us to take this very seriously, and I think we should treat it as if we have a tornado on the ground. But currently, the scans that are coming in, we do not have that. Zooming out to show you the entire area, here is where we do have the tornado warning. 516 is included. Downtown Savannah is included. Also into southern Jasper County. 315, 17A, Talmadge Bridge included. Garden City, let's zoom in. You're on the northern periphery of this warning, but if it continues on its path towards the northeast at 50, it looks like for those of you watching in Port Wentworth and Garden City, it's going to try to move just towards the south of your area. Let's talk about some of the other factors. Lightning, little to none of that, so that's where we like to keep it. Hail tracker, none of that. If we had it, it would pop up. The primary concern that we have is going to be heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and obviously rotation, funnel clouds, and a brief tornado, which I wanted to update you. If you've been out and about throughout your Sunday and you haven't heard, there was a possible tornado in Bacon County earlier this afternoon. It was just towards the east of Alma. I got a report of a mobile home that was damaged, and several homes were damaged, and unfortunately, at least 2 people were injured. So, Mother Nature, it's unsettled this afternoon, and it will continue to be so for the next several hours. So every 3 to 5 minutes, we will be getting updates on the radar reflectivity, what you're seeing. So the radar, that's one of the misconceptions. Radar is not second by second live. We get updates every 3 to 5 minutes because it has to do a full 360 scan across the area. Let's switch to our velocity mode. This again will tell you where we could have some of that rotation. The area that I'm concerned about is going to be, let's see, let me get my pointer out here so I can show you. Here is the area that I'm concerned about. If we are streaming on our radio and you're traveling on I-16, I would highly recommend avoiding between 516 and I-95. Here is the area I'm concerned about. The good news is it looks like it has since pushed away from 307. It's moving northeast at about 45 to 50. 17, it's just north of you, and again, it's lodged between I-16 and 17. And it's a fast mover, so it's one of those situations, it's going to be upon you before you even know it. So shear tracker, tornado tracker, where we have the light blue and the purple is where we could have funnel cloud and a possible tornado. And you know, I've been tracking tornadoes for a long time. I used to be a meteorologist in the plains. It has been a while since I have seen this significant of a tornado signature locally. You know, we don't get a lot of tornadoes across our area, so when this pops up, it's something that you definitely have to take seriously. And we do have that signature of, this is our shear tracker between I-16 and 80, quickly moving off towards the northeast at about 45 to 50. If you're listening to me around Chatham Parkway, just west of 516, let me give you a bearing as to where we're at. This is going to be between Tremont Park and Garden City. All right, so here's, let me get my pointer out. Here's Garden City, here's Tremont Park. The area that we are concerned about is going to be just below Woodlawn Terrace. And it looks like we have not gotten any updates as far as the intensity, the track, and we will hopefully be getting that over the next 3 to 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look at the National Weather Service feed and see if we have any updates. And we do have, WSAV does have storm trackers right now around this cell, and we will relay any information that we have. Let's switch to our reflectivity and see what we got. Reflectivity is basically the rain that the radar beam sends out, gets back the information, and it looks like the worst of it is around 25, 80, I-16, 516 as well. And let me show you a time lapse. Let me show you a time lapse as to where the storm has come from and where it will be heading. So I want you to see at home, see this comma shape right here? That's going to be around Garden City, Alabama Junction. That's a typical echo that we look at for funnel clouds, rotation, and tornadoes. So I'm absolutely not surprised that I'm seeing that. That is very typical. And what I'm going to do right now is to look and see with our National Weather Service feed if we have any damage reports, which we do not. I'm still looking at it. At this point, we do not have a tornado on the ground. It's more that they're being extremely cautious. A tornado could drop from the sky at any moment, and a funnel cloud could drop from the sky at any moment. And I want you to do me a favor here at home. If you're listening to me, do not look out the window. If you live in this area, I want you to seek shelter, get towards the center of your home, get away from windows, get into the bathroom. If you can, get into the tub. You want to protect your head, protect your brain, get a helmet. If you have a baseball helmet, that's a great thing to have. If we have any flying debris, whether it's glass, wood, anything like that, I want you to protect yourself, because what we have seen with some of the tornadoes over the past month is that they're very short-lived, but they can pack quite a punch. They could only live for about 3 to 5 minutes, but they could pack a significant punch. We had a tornado in Valdosta a few days ago. It was only on the ground for several minutes, but it produced winds around 100 to 150 miles per hour. We had another tornado on Christmas Eve around Pierce County. That as well was only on the ground for a few minutes. That had winds around 100 miles per hour. So short-lived, but they can be very dangerous, and that's why I do not want to diminish the threat. So let's get to the very latest, and definitely starting to see a more defined area of rotation around and crossing 516. All right, so let me get you a bearing as to where we are. Let me point out downtown. Downtown Savannah is right here. Here's Bay Street. Here's going to be 17, and it looks like, by the way, the National Weather Service has continued the tornado warning, and I don't blame them. That's a very good call because of the rotation that I'm still seeing. Here is West Gwinnett Street. That's where we could have the funnel cloud, and we could have the possible tornado. So if you live around Chatham Parkway, you're in the clear now. The possible tornado has since moved away. The area that I'm concerned about is going to be 516. Here's going to be I-16. Here's the Talmadge Bridge, and here's going to be 17. Now, if you live around downtown, very important, seek shelter. What you want to do, actually, here's the best thing that you could do. You're probably going to be going into the bathroom and you can't see the TV. So what I want you to do is crank up the volume so you can hear me in the bathroom. You can listen to every word. I can give you updates. Crank up the volume, protect your head. Get blankets. That's a good thing to have. And, you know, we're going to get through this. It'll be a very, the good thing is hopefully you move out of here very quickly. It's a fast mover, moving towards the northeast at about 45 to 50. I've been tracking this all afternoon. Nothing has gotten by me. And if we have a tornado on the ground, I will absolutely let you know. Let's get you an update on our shear tracker as well as our correlation coefficient, which basically detects if we have debris on the ground. So again, exactly where I thought it would be, where the possible tornado and the funnel cloud. Here is our shear tracker and the potential for a tornado. And what shear is it's basically winds traveling at different speeds and in different directions. And when you have that type of confliction, and with different winds, that's where you're going to get that rotation. And that's exactly where we have around Gwinnett Street, Louisville Road. Let me point these out for you. Here's Clearview. Here's 516, so it's going to cross 516. It's exiting Telfair Road. And let's see if it continues on this path. Let me do a time lapse so that way I can show you where the storm was and where it's heading. Okay, so here's going to be your time lapse. You're going to see it come in on the bottom of your screen. Okay, so there it is around I-16. It's going to move northeast. Okay, and if it continues on this path, I'll tell you what, I wonder if it would be around, it probably would approach the Talmadge Bridge. And if, you know, let's hope that it just avoids downtown. Now let me switch to, I want to check if we have possibly any debris. This is our correlation coefficient. A lot of the red that you're looking at is a good thing. We want red because that is just the radar picking up on rain. If we had debris flying through the air, we would see a blue bulb. You would see blue coloring. One of the newest technologies that we have nowadays is we can detect debris flying through the air, and we call that a tornado debris signature. And this feature that we have is called our correlation coefficient, which I know is a big fancy word for basically just saying that we possibly have tornado debris flying through the air. So for right now, I am not seeing that. That is a very good sign. I still do not want to rule out the potential that we could have a brief tornado. We could have a funnel cloud. We definitely have the rotation. That I am not questioning, which looks like it has now, let me get my bearings here because we're getting the updates every 3 to 5 minutes with the radar scan because it has to do a 360. Okay, so for you around downtown Savannah, listen to me carefully here. Here is the area that we would be concerned about. It's right here. So it looks like it has passed downtown Savannah. So if you're listening to me in downtown Savannah, you are in the clear. You are in the clear. It looks like it is now, it's starting to cross over. So downtown Savannah, I-16, 516, you're going to be fine. You're in the clear. So now I'm going to start to focus my attention and shift my focus to southern Jasper County, which thankfully is a little bit more rural. So sure enough, how about that? I'm going to show you something pretty amazing here. Look at this hole right here. And I just by looking at that reflectivity, we at least have some rotation at the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So that would be the base of the cloud. And at any point, a funnel cloud could drop and, you know, we could have a brief tornado. So at this point, I'm going to see if we have any more updates from the National Weather Service. I'm kind of reading and multitasking as we speak. It looks like we have trees down Highway 17 at Berwick Boulevard. I am not surprised. That's where we had that cell crossover. Hunter Army Airfield just reported a gust of 44 miles per hour. And in addition to the tornado potential and the threat, we also have to worry about damaging winds, straight line winds, with this powerful complex of showers and storms. I'm going to get back to that cell in 1 second. Let me just scan the rest of the area. If you're listening to me in Wayne County, Pierce County, Brantley, for right now, I'm not seeing anything too major. Nothing that would that a severe thunderstorm warning would need to be issued for. Let me take a look at South Carolina. Again, nothing too impressive. The strongest and worst storm that we have, wouldn't you know it, is right around and just north of Savannah. It's exiting Chatham County. It's moving into Jasper County. Have not gotten any damage reports. We do have tornado chasers actively pursuing this safely. It does look like one of the concerns that we have with the cell is that it would be rain wrapped, meaning that you would not be able to see it, and that is one of the dangerous concerns that we have. I can hear outside of WSAV that the tornado sirens are going off. That's a very good sign. Everybody needs to take this seriously. If you're listening to me at home, I want you to get to the center of your home, get away from windows. No damage reports coming in. Let me do a shear update as far as what we have and what we have going on. There we go. And it looks like that area of rotation, the possible tornado, the funnel cloud, is crossing over from Georgia into South Carolina. It's a very rural area. That's the one positive, and it's going to move over marshy areas. And let me see here, just got an update. Looks like a tree has fallen onto a home and a possible structure fire could be from this storm. So if you're just joining us, just watching at home, tornado warning still in effect for extreme northern Chatham County into Jasper County, which is more rural. Here is the area that we're focusing on. Let me get my pointer out, I can show you. It's just to the east of the Talmadge Bridge. It's just towards the north of downtown Savannah. The reason why the National Weather Service is issuing this tornado warning is that a tornado could fall from the sky at any moment. I have not gotten a report that that has occurred, but the radar looks very suspect. And it looks like we do have, let me zoom out, we have the classic hook signature that you're going to see. Let me point that out for you. Here is going to be your classic hook. The area right here, we probably have rotation just towards the east of the Talmadge. If WSAV gets any updates, we will let you know. This is a great time to hop onto our website. We got the live interactive radar. You can see storm development at home if you are in the clear and away from this storm, where it's going, where it's heading, and look at that. We sure enough have gotten another update. Every 3 to 5 minutes, we get radar updates, and that confirms that downtown Savannah, you are in the clear. So you can get away, you can now get out of the bathroom, get out of your safe shelter. Downtown Savannah is in the clear. Talmadge Bridge, you are in the clear. 516 in the clear. The area that we are looking at would be south of 315. This is more of a low country situation now. In Jasper County, if it holds together, this could move and approach Hilton Head Island within the next 45 minutes to the hour. So if you're listening to me around Hilton Head Island, you need to keep it here to WSAV minute by minute. I am not going anywhere. I'm going to let you know. Bluffton, let me do a time lapse just to confirm the location of where this thing is heading. If it continues on its path, I tell you what, I bet you it's going to move more towards Hilton Head than Bluffton. But at that point, I do not want you to let your guard down. If you live in Bluffton, Hilton Head, you need to keep in the back of your mind where your safe shelter is in your apartment, in your home. My recommendation, if you have a 2-story home, get to the bottom, get to the bathroom, get to the center, get away from windows. Current update still shows rotation at the base of the cloud, the mid-levels. Let me get to my shear tracker. It's still showing an old update around the Georgia and South Carolina border. What I'm going to be waiting for is if we have any more weakening or strengthening within this area. So I'm going to be watching that, see if we get an update. Let's go to our correlation coefficient, which detects debris in the air. I'm not seeing that. The red is rain in the atmosphere. So the fact that we see that and we do not see the blue is a very, very good sign. Because what it does is the radar has the technology nowadays to differentiate between rain and debris, whether that's wood, glass flying through the air. Our radar has the technology to do that, and the fact that I don't see that, very, very good sign. So So let's continue to track this. Jasper County, you are under the tornado warning. And I'm going to make a judgment call here. Although we technically do have that tornado warning in effect for Chatham County, honestly, the area of rotation has since moved into Jasper County. So I would not be surprised within the next 5 to 10 minutes if the National Weather Service, who issues these tornado warnings, starts to chip away at that warning. So Chatham County, you are pretty much in the clear. The only area that, I'm actually zooming in on this, and there are no towns and no streets to zoom in on. So that tells me that it's a very rural area. And that's still, for our friends who do live in Jasper County, I do not want to diminish the threat. I'm still going to track this for you minute by minute. Let's switch to our hail tracker. Absolutely no hail. The instability in the atmosphere is not very impressive, not very good, and that has been one of the ingredients that has been hurting our chances for widespread severe weather. So we like that. We like the fact that we have not had a lot of instability. And remember all the cloud cover that we've had today? And the fact that we haven't had a lot of sunshine, that is a very good thing because that would heat us up. And if we had more sunshine, we probably would have a lot more severe weather, which we do not have. We still do have the active tornado warning in effect for Jasper County. It's just towards the northeast of the Talmadge Bridge, crossing over the border from Georgia into South Carolina. Let me do an update as far as any updates that we have. And it looks like, let's see here. It looks like we do not have any more updates. And sure enough, the National Weather Service is confirming what I had said, that it was around Hutchinson Island. It was just northeast of Savannah, so that is not a surprise. The area is moving towards the east-northeast at 40 miles per hour. Now, if you're watching me at home, let's say you were impacted by the storm. Maybe it was a brief tornado. Maybe it was on the ground for a few minutes. What I want you to do is, if it is clear, call WSAV, call the National Weather Service, and call local first responders. If you have damage, if you got a tree down, if you have structural damage, you need to call those who can help you, and we need to know about it, because in that way I can relay that information to those on air and on the radio, on WSAV.com, and obviously on TV. Still holding steady. No updates as far as intensity goes. Let's do our velocity scan. We haven't done that in a while. So let's do an update on that. And because I haven't seen it within the past 15 minutes, let me as well scan it with you, and we'll go over this together. So here is the area that we're looking at, and sure enough, that is still a very decent rotation. If you're having trouble seeing it at home, let me point it out for you. It's going to be right here. And what this feature is, it's a very great feature for tracking tornadoes, is the red is going to be wind going away from the radar. Let me point out to you where the radar is. It's in northern Jasper County. So here's the radar, and it's wind going away and towards the radar. And where you have the bright green and the bright red in a small area, that is where you're going to have rotation, possibly strong, maybe a funnel cloud, and maybe a tornado. Now, if it continues on this track, it's going to cross over Jasper County into Beaufort County. Again, rural area, it's more than likely going to be in the marsh, but if it continues its intensity and its track, it's going to move south of Bluffton and possibly impact Hilton Head Island. Now, one of the concerns that I have, speaking of the location and the fact that it is in the marsh, and for the most part in the marsh, and possibly there's probably going to be some land area as well, is that we could have less friction within this area, meaning that it could speed up the winds and speed up the rotation. And that's why oftentimes you will see more water spouts than tornadoes. Over the ocean, you have less friction and you get faster wind speeds, and that could very well could be happening around parts of the low country and parts of Jasper County. So still tracking this. I'm curious to see if the National Weather Service continues this into Beaufort County. If it was my opinion, if it was my call, I would do it because the rotation is still pretty solid. And sure enough, right on cue, it looks like they have just continued it. Our software has it. There we go. Sure enough, right on cue. It looks like they listened to me. It looks like they will continue that into Beaufort County. And that's a very good call. I completely agree with it. It's still solid rotation, decent rotation. If you're listening to me on Hilton Head Island, here's what you need to do. You have plenty of time. This storm is still well away from you. If you live around southeastern Bluffton, Hilton Head Island. This is going to be the center to western part of the island. But I tell you what, if you live on the entire island, seek shelter. Get to the bottom of your home. If you live in an apartment, let's say a multiple story, second, third story, get to the bottom floor if you can do that. I know obviously if you don't know the people on the bottom floor, you may have to just tell them the situation. Hey, we got a possible tornado on the way. And I'm sure they would be very understanding of what's going on in most situations. Sea pines, you need to seek shelter anywhere along the beach, Hilton Head. Seek shelter immediately. And it looks like the area that is the most concern that we are worried about, let me get my marker out here. Here is going to be your classic hook signature. The area of rotation, funnel cloud, and possible tornado would be right on the bottom curl in southern Jasper County, moving towards the east-northeast at 40 to 45 miles per hour. Now, getting reports from the National Weather Service, they as well do not have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground. And when we issue these tornado warnings, the National Weather Service, and then we relay them, the media does, on air, there are two scenarios. There's A, that a tornado is on the ground, it has been confirmed, it's doing damage, or B, that it's possible at any moment, meaning that we could have it drop from the sky. It could be a situation where a funnel cloud is present. We are seeing that, and that it could briefly touch down. That is one of the concerns that the National Weather Service has, and that's why they would issue the tornado warning. So right now we are option B. The National Weather Service in Charleston is making that call. And by the way, the National Weather Service in Charleston is issuing these tornado warnings. And they have a large coverage area, which includes South Carolina as well as the Coastal Empire. So very shortly, Chatham County, you will be officially out of the tornado warning. If you're listening to me on Tybee Island, Wilmington Island, Skidaway, downtown Savannah, you are in the clear. I want to be crystal clear about that. You are in the clear. Let's take a look at some of the other activity down towards the southwest. We're looking fine, looking good. Just your moderate rainfall. What's happening is the energy in the atmosphere has been greatly used, and these storms well towards the west have nothing to feed off of. So the atmosphere is a lot more stable, and that's why, let me throw in the lightning detector. Sure enough, no lightning. So let's get back to the active tornado warning, exiting Jasper County, moving into southern and western Beaufort County. I'm going to switch over to our shear tracker. This is a fantastic tool at detecting if we do have a tornado on the ground. Where you do have the brighter colors, the light blue, the purple, that is where we could have a tornado on the ground. And look at the satellite imagery. This is what I wanted to see. It's over a sparsely populated area. If we in fact have anybody in there, it looks like a marshy area, very rural. Now that will not be the case once it crosses over into Beaufort County. Here's going to be a Dufusky. Let me do a time lapse to show you where the possible tornado is and where it came from and where it's heading. It was around I-16, 516. It moved over Hutchinson Island, just towards the north of downtown. It quickly moved towards the east-northeast at about 40 to 45. And the one thing you can probably see at home, it has either A, held its rotation and been solid, or look at the past scan. It looks like it's actually intensified, and the shear, the rotation has gotten stronger. Now that's not a sign I like to see. Let's switch to our correlation coefficient, big fancy word for basically picking up on debris, wood, glass, you name it, flying through the air, and I still do not see that. I know it looks terribly confusing and a messy display, but the red is rain. The red is rain. If we actually had debris at any point, it would pop up as a blue bulb, and because I do not see that, that is a very good sign. Now what I'm going to be looking for would be in the area of the rotation, that blue bulb, and let's switch back to our shear if I can. Let me do it here. Okay, so see where we have the shear and the possible tornado near the border of Jasper, Beaufort. Let me switch over to the correlation coefficient again, which detects debris. Sure enough, we don't have it. So very good sign at the moment. That tells me that we do not have a tornado on the ground. It probably means that we at least have a funnel cloud moving towards the east-northeast at 40 to 45 miles per hour. For you living in Bluffton, And watching me in Bluffton for right now, this is more of a heavy rain. Let me throw on the lightning detector. Absolutely no lightning. And I would say for 46 portions of 278, monitoring these trends, I would say around the greater Bluffton area, you should be in the clear if it continues on its track. And sure enough, the National Weather Service Polygon does have Bluffton out of the clear. I think that's a very good call. I think that's smart. Hilton Head, not so much. Hilton Head, you are still in the immediate path of this storm. What I want to do right now is to check the feed coming in from the National Weather Service. They as well, it seems like they do not have anything confirmed. They have sure enough canceled the tornado warning for Chatham County. I agree with that. Still monitoring a huge and large hook echo, not tornado, hook echo. We still have a decent amount of rotation at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, so that's going to be the base of the cloud. Beaufort Island, let's zoom in. Beaufort Island, just around and north of you is the area of concern. If you're watching me at home, get to the center of your home, get into the bathroom. What you want to do is to get into the bathroom, have the helmet on. The helmet will protect you from flying debris, whether that be wood, whether that be glass. Helmet, a very good thing to have, especially in severe situations like this. Okay, so let's get you the very latest. Every 3 to 5 minutes, we will be getting updates. We will be getting scans. The rotation's still very solid. And it is a pretty broad area of rotation just towards the north of Beaufort. And I mentioned this a few minutes ago, and I would not be surprised if this is the case. But remember how I was talking about the shear and the rotation has either been stable or intensified a bit? I bet you the surroundings and the fact that it's more marshy, we have more water, there's probably less friction, and that gives this storm the green light to have a little bit faster winds, possibly some tighter rotation. And I'm definitely going to be watching that correlation coefficient if we have any debris or anything like that. But honestly, at this point, the only thing the debris that would fly through the air would probably be trees, limbs, and stuff of that nature. And for right now, still not seeing that. Okay. At this point, what I want to do, if you're watching me at home in Bullock County, if you're watching me in the low country of South Carolina, I want to give you a little peace of mind here. I want you just to get an update as far as what we have. Colleton County, northern Beaufort County, northern Jasper, looking fine, no issues. Bullock County, the atmosphere is a lot more stable for you because you had the storms about an hour or so ago, so your atmosphere is cooler, less energy for the storms to feed off of. That's a very good thing. Tatnall County, you're looking fine, just your typical plain old rain. Appling County, no issues. If you are watching me in Bacon County, it has been a rough afternoon for you, and here's what I'm talking about. Let me switch to my storm report. There was a possible tornado just east of Alma that injured at least 2 people. I got a report of a mobile home that was destroyed. A few homes were damaged. So that's the type of atmosphere that we're dealing with. It is unsettled. It is not pretty, and it looks like. Let me switch back to the reflectivity. I get you the very latest. We're getting new scans coming in, and the area of concern has now exited Jasper County. It has moved into Beaufort County. So for the few of you who are listening to me in Jasper County, you are in the clear, at least within that tornado warned area. It is now a concern for Beaufort County between Bluffton and Hilton Head, and honestly probably more Hilton Head Island. Shear tracker, let's do an update, see if we've gotten any scans. It looks like it's a few minutes behind. Correlation coefficient, debris in the air, we got nothing going on, very good sign. There are a few isolated cases, folks, where depending on how far away you are from the radar beam, which is in northern Jasper County, if the tornado is extremely low, meaning that the cloud base is very low, just a couple hundred feet above the ground, a tornado can sometimes hide under the radar beam, and it means that we cannot see it with our radar display. When I was a meteorologist in Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas, we had a couple cases like that, and it could very well happen here. We had a case actually in Appling County last year, same deal. The cell was so far away from the radar beam that the possible tornado hid under the beam and we couldn't see it. And sure enough, we got reports from law enforcement of a tornado. So let's do a time lapse over the past 15 to 30 minutes as far as what we have, where it's heading. It is moving towards the east-northeast at about, I'd say about 40 miles per hour. It will approach 278. Let's get you street level, town by town, some of the possible areas that could be impacted. Marshland roads, Spanish Wells, 278. If it holds its intensity and holds together, it will impact your area. Not looking as impressive as far as the reflectivity. Now, the same cannot be said with the shear, which is differential winds, different wind speeds, and that's one of the precursors of tornado development, and that's one of the things that we look for. So let's go back to our shear tracker. Let's see if we've gotten an update. Still waiting on it. It's taking its bittersweet time around southern Beaufort County. Dufusky, if you're watching me at home, it looks like you are about to be in the clear once I get that new update. So that is some good news. Let me switch back to, and actually, I tell you what, if you're watching me at home and you're just tuning in wondering what the heck is going on, let's get you up to speed. The area that we were concerned about was just south of Quaco Road around I-95. So take a look at the light blue and the purple. And let me make this very clear and very simple for you. What this tool is tornado potential, tornado threat. And we had that around I-95. What is the time lapse? Looks like it was around 3 o'clock. Okay, so it was around 3 o'clock. It started to get its act going and maintained its intensity as it moved across Chatham County. That's why you heard the tornado sirens. That's why the National Weather Service kept the tornado warning going. It moved across 516. It moved across Hutchinson Island. No reports of a tornado on the ground. It is one of those scenarios where better to be safe than sorry. The National Weather Service did not want to take any chances with this. Still, the rotation, very solid, holding together. And thankfully, I just have gotten the new update, and it looks like it is exiting. It's going to move over the waters and start to approach Hilton Head Island within the next 15 to 30 minutes. Now, one of the concerns that I have is this is a very fast mover, northeast at 40 minutes, or at 40 miles per hour. So it's going to be there before you know it. So that's one of the concerns. You need to be prepared right now. It's not one of those where you say, hey, I'm going to take this seriously in about 15 to 30 minutes. No, you need to do it right now because it's going to be on top of your doorstep before you know it. Buckingham Landing, Hilton Head Island, I would place this storm, if it continues on its track, within this area in the short term. Still holding its intensity. The brighter colors that you see, that's the moderate to heavy rainfall in addition to the tornado potential. Damaging winds very much possible. We can have wind gusts in excess of 50 to 70 miles per hour. It looks like, I'm getting some of the updates from the National Weather Service as I'm talking to you on air. They have not, let's see here, they have not confirmed a tornado at this point. It's same thing. We're watching the rotation. It has slowed down just a smidge. It's moving east now at 35 miles per hour. If you have a damage report at home, you need to let us know here at WSAV. You need to let the National Weather Service know, and you need to let first responders know as well. I did get a report of a tree down in Savannah, I believe. Yeah, there was a tree that fell on a home. I talked about the tornado, possible tornado, 3 miles east of Alma. A mobile home was damaged, which is, by the way, one of the worst places you can be in a tornadic situation. Mobile home, worst place you can be. You want to be as low as possible. You don't want to be in a structure that can be picked up at any moment. Heavy rainfall occurring between Bluffton and Hilton Head. I'm still getting the radar scans, the radar updates in. Let's throw on the lightning detector. We do not have that. So this is primarily a heavy rain, damaging winds, tornado threat. Let me switch over to my correlation coefficient. I just want to double check and make sure we do not have debris flying through the air. I know that at times this can seem extremely repetitive. I agree, but not all of us are joining in and tuning in and watching at the same time that you've been watching. So with that said, I want to explain what this feature is. This is our correlation coefficient. The red that you're detecting is rain in the atmosphere. If we had debris flying through the air from a tornado on the ground, we would see a blue bulb, which we do not have at the moment around Beaufort County, west of Hilton Head, south of Bluffton. Shear tracker still holding steady, just towards the west-northwest of Sea Pines. If you're listening to me around Sea Pines and around 278. You need to seek shelter immediately. And because this radar scan is a few minutes old, it's going to be about 3 to 5 minutes old, I would place the new area of rotation and the new area of concern with the possible funnel cloud, possible tornado. And actually at this point it would be a water spout because at any point a tornado moves over water, it's going to become a water spout briefly. And then if a water spout moves over land, it's going to be classified as a tornado. If you didn't know that at home, just want to clarify that with you. So it would be a brief water spout. In some situations like this, I've been talking about this throughout the course of the afternoon, when these cells go over water, they can sometimes get that kick that they need with greater rotation because you have less friction around the water, and you can sometimes get faster spin-ups, and that's what we could have going on briefly as this crosses from land to water to land and eventually approaching Hilton Head Island in southern Beaufort County. So let's get you a time lapse, show you what exactly is going on, and it looks like, although the shear tracker is behind, I tell you what, let me get my pointer out. I bet you the area of concern is right here. It always will be in most situations, more than likely. Let me zoom out so I can show you what I'm talking about. See this curl? Classic hook signature. Classic hook signature. If you've ever looked at tornadoes in the Plains states or in the southeast, this is a classic tornado signature because in a classic tornado cell, in that the possible tornado would be right here on the bottom of the curl just towards the west of Hilton Head Island. We do have the rotation at the mid-levels. We have it at the base of the cloud, which is not too far away from the ground. The cloud deck and the cloud cover very low to the ground, which to a certain degree is aiding in the development of this storm. And it's one of those things, if you want to watch at home, if you're in the clear, watch and track us on the WSAV interactive radar. You can check it out at home. We actually do have the rotation on our website. It's one of those things that you want to do at home. You can do at home. Bluffton, it is starting to exit your area. It's just towards the north of Hilton Head, so it looks like it's trying to lodge itself between Bluffton and Hilton Head. If it continues on this path, it would approach 278. Now let me get you some street level locations. And unfortunately, it looks like we do not have much. So that's a good sign. I'm not really seeing a whole lot. Let's go, let's see here. We got Harbor, Page, I believe, Cross Tree Drive, 278. So this would be the north end of Hilton Head Island, which has a greater chance of that rotation, funnel cloud, and possible tornado moving towards your area. Still not getting any damage reports in. That is a very, very good sign. That's where we like to keep it. It is moving away from Dufusky Island. Sea Pines, I'm still going to put you on alert because, it looks like we could also have a continuation all the way down here. Let me get my marker out here, my tracker. Could also have a continuation down here as well. So I'm going to be looking here, and I'm going to be looking here for that elevated risk for funnel clouds and tornadoes. And one of the issues that we've had past month in the southeast is these tornadoes, they drop to the ground. They're on the ground for a few minutes, but they definitely they make their mark. EF2 tornado, Valdosta, just a few days ago. That came with little to no warning, and that is why I am not taking any chances. I don't care what's on TV right now. It's better to be safe than sorry. I don't care how many times I repeat myself. We need to get you the very latest. We need to get you minute by minute tracking here at WSAV. And the one thing I can promise you, we will get you the best storm tracking in the area, without a doubt. Chief Meteorologist Chris Allred, Lee Haywood, all three of us have been on top of this over the past several days. Bluffton, Hilton Head, here's the very latest as of 3:50, as we approach 3:50 in the afternoon. Continuing to get the scans, and we just got another one. And it looks like the National Weather Service better extend this tornado warning because it's moving pretty fast. Let me switch to my shear tracker here. Let's do it. Okay, so actually I can give you some analysis here with the new updates that we've been getting. It's looking a little bit more ragged. The rotation is not nearly as impressive. Very good sign. Very good sign, because what I want you to do, look at this purple area just towards the north of Beaufort, just towards the northwest, let's say northwest. Let me get my pointer out. That is when I was a bit concerned. I thought that it was holding pretty steady, and it looks like it has become more ragged within the past several minutes. So you take a look at that. You notice how the purples are starting to go away, and notice how we're starting to see more blue. And sure enough, it's almost like the National Weather Service has been watching my weathercast. They have just expired the tornado warning. I completely agree. The rotation is not nearly as impressive. It is a lot more ragged. And if it continues on this path, it's either going to do one of two things. It's either going to skim farther up the coast, Hunting Island possibly, or it's going to move into the open Atlantic. So I want to recap this before I send you back to programming, and I want to get you an update as far as what we have going on and get you up to speed, and I want to send you with some good news before we get out of here. The rotation has become ragged. It is not as tight. It is not as strong. The area of concern is still southeastern Beaufort County around Hilton Head Island, but it's not nearly as impressive. The wind speeds are lower. So the National Weather Service has discontinued and canceled the tornado warning for you on Hilton Head Island. My personal recommendation, and if you're watching me at home, here's what I want you to do if you still live on Hilton Head Island. This storm could very well fluctuate in intensity, meaning that it could weaken and then strengthen again. I want you to still seek shelter for the next 15 to 30 minutes. And then after that, you will be free to do whatever you want to do. For me, do it for me. I want you to stay indoors, away from windows. I'm not going to take any chances with this because it could very well fluctuate and re-intensify over the next several minutes. So if you live around the center of Hilton Head Island and the east end of Hilton Head Island, still seek shelter. It could intensify, but at this moment, ragged rotation, the tornado warning has been canceled. If we issue another tornado warning over the next several hours, we will immediately let you know here at WSAV. So at this point, I'm going to finish my coverage and I'll turn it back to regular scheduled programming.